There's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain.
Hey everyone, Candy Zaru here. I wanted to come back to you guys real quick and talk about something that I'm currently in the season of. I think in the end of the season of, hopefully, in Yirtzeh Hashem, if God wills, we are in the end of this season. But I wanted to talk about suffering, trial, hardship, things not always going your way, and how we as believers are to respond to it, and furthermore, how we should be thankful for it, and how it is evidence that we are of God, that we are of Yah, and that we are in Mashiach. We know that scripture teaches that the servant is not greater than its master. So we are not greater than Yeshua, and he suffered the ultimate suffering, one that we will not ever go through. But we do still have to suffer, and we're not greater than the master, so we don't get to just live a cushy life with everything going our way and just a land of blessing and land of milk and honey nonstop. We are still in the world. The world is still, to some degree, under the power of the adversary of Hasatan, and we have to deal with that due to sin and sin cursing the ground. So with that, I have some notes here. I have my word. I wanted to just quickly try to share a few verses that hopefully help to encourage or just help to inspire right thinking while in the season. So, of course, the first verse I wanted to come from was James 1. And James 1 is really good. Please read the whole thing. Of course, we all know, like, count it all joy, my brothers, when you face trials of various kinds. We all know that. But specifically, verse 12 is one of my favorites. So James, or Yaakov, 1 verse 12, "Blessed is the man who does endure trial, for when he has been proved, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Master has promised to those who love him." There is reward. There's reward. Next, I wanted to read, let's go to 1 Peter. 1 Peter 4 is really good. So yeah, let's just read 1 Peter 4, verse 1 maybe. "Therefore, since Messiah suffered in the flesh, arm yourselves also with the same mind, because he who has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin." That is powerful. So we know that we have to arm ourselves with the same mind that our master had. Romans 5, verse 3 through 4, I also dig on. "And not only this, but we also exult in pressures, knowing that pressure works endurance, and endurance approvedness, and approvedness expectation. And expectation does not disappoint, because the love of Elohim has been poured out in our hearts by the set-apart Spirit, which was given for us. For when we were still weak, Messiah in due time died for the wicked." We are worthy because he called us worthy. Even in our suffering, even in our shame, even in our guilt, even in our hardship, we are worthy. We are so worthy because of him. Also, let's go to 2 Corinthians 4, verse 17. This is probably one that I just repeat to myself all the time, which is important, guys. Repeat scripture to yourself all the time. Simple, quick verses that you can remember, that you can just let truly seep into your heart and really just be something that changes your mind. So 2 Corinthians 4, verse 17, "For this slight momentary pressure is working for us as a far more exceeding and everlasting weight of esteem." So this momentary, this temporary pressure, this temporary hardship, it's working for us something. It's working for us far more exceeding and everlasting glory in the eternal, in the hereafter. So what we're going through now, the hardship, all of the sucky hard times, it's working for us for something better that is forever, that is eternal. That is encouraging to me anyway. Okay, so Hebrews 4:14 is another verse that I think is pretty encouraging. So, therefore, since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Yahushua, the son of Elohim, let us hold fast our confession, for we do not have a high priest unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who was tried in all respects as we are, apart from sin. Therefore, let us come boldly to the throne of grace in order to receive compassion and find favor for timely help. Wow, we do not have a prophet or a high priest or a Mashiach who cannot sympathize with us, who was not tested and tried and still triumph. We have that in him, and we are hidden in him, you guys. We're hidden in him. So what he overcame, we overcame, and we are overcoming, and we will overcome. I wanted to kick it back to Ecclesiastes 3. For those of you who don't know, so part of what we're going through here is a lot, but part of what we're going through is the fact that I did lose one of my childhood best friends of 23 years. We met when we were 4, and we were just a super close-knit group. There's a group of us, and he passed away. And it was hard. That's hard, and that's a part of life, and the fact that it is hard is also a part of life. But these two scriptures were scriptures that for me helped me grieve and work through it and give praise to God anyway, and because of. So Ecclesiastes 3, I'm sure everyone is familiar with this, but I just want to read it for anyone who's lost someone recently or is going through hardship who just needs this reminder. So, for every matter there is an appointed time, even a time for every pursuit under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for battle and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the task Elohim has given to the sons of men to be humbled by it. He has made it all beautiful in its time. Even the ages he has put in their hearts, except that no one finds out the work that Elohim does from beginning to end. I know that there is no good for them but to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is a gift of Elohim. I know that whatever Elohim does is forever. There is no adding to it, and there is no taking from it. Elohim does it, that men should fear before him. I just love that. And if you keep reading Ecclesiastes, it's just very, very beautiful. And in the end of the book of Ecclesiastes 12, verses 13 and 14, it says this: "Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Fear Elohim and guard his commands, for this applies to all mankind. For Elohim shall bring every work into right ruling, including all that is hidden, whether good or whether evil." So everything there is a time. For everything there's a time. And for everything that has happened and everything that will happen, it is beautiful, and it will be beautiful in its time. And nothing can change and stop what Elohim does. We cannot know all that he does. But the end of the matter is to fear him, to guard his commandments, and know that he is just and everything will come into right ruling. That to me was just extremely comforting, and hopefully that helps someone else. And then another verse that I'll just conclude with, again on a subject of, people losing lives, especially young people losing their lives. Isaiah 57, verse 1. The righteous one has perished, and no one takes it to heart, and committed men are taken away, while no one understands that the righteous one is taken away from the presence of evil. He enters into peace. They who walk in integrity rest on their beds. And that's just, a lot of people lose young ones, and I can't imagine. I don't want to ever have to live through that. But Scripture is saying that it can be a mercy. It can be something that we don't understand, but it could be a mercy that some of these young ones and these righteous people who were taken, it was to keep them from evil. It actually was a mercy and a grace to them, and they are now in peace. That's pretty powerful to me. So again, I know this is not like a upbeat, necessarily happy video, but I do hope it's encouraging. I hope it encourages you all to get into your word in your season of trial, and to put on your worship music and praise and worship and pray and read your word and just have faith. Endure, endure, endure. Reach out, talk to people, ask for prayer. We are to bear one another's burdens, so don't ever feel like you have to keep your crap to yourself. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was encouraging to you all out there in this season. And like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's going on with you guys. Until next time, I'm Yirtzeh Hashem. Bye, everyone.